What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. Today I saw a video by Damian Porter, and in the video he was talking about an incident that occurred in the LA County Jail, Wayside, right? And it was an incident that it had to do with the blacks and the Southerners, the Mexicans, right? In the video, he talked about how a non-affiliate, a turned-up non-affiliate, he called him a tuna, turned-up non-affiliate black, entered Wayside where he was at, and it was during a time where there was, it was a wartime, and there were a lot of riots going on between the Southern Mexicans and the blacks, all over all over Wayside, right? A lot of stabbings, a lot of violent activities were going on. And when this guy, the tuna, when he pulled up, they were currently on a ceasefire on that dorm. The blacks and the Mexicans were on a ceasefire, right? And this dude hadn't been in a riot, just came from the county jail to Wayside, and I guess he had it in his head where I'm going to go and I'm going to put in work on some Mexicans, this and that, and some Southern. I'm going to get these Southerners, whatever he was thinking, right? And when he got there, it was on, everything was on pause. Everybody was programming. They had just finished having a bunch of riots in that dorm. And they were just at a ceasefire at the time. And this dude was pissed, right? He was going to try to figure out a way to create a riot between his people and the Southerners. And long story short, Damian went and talked to him, let him know, hey, that's not what's happening right now. Right now we're taking a break from that. He still went out of his way to try to create an issue. He pushed up on some Southerners that were working out, basically trying to get them to stop so he could work out. But his intentions were for them to get off on him so that the thing jumps, right? Damian and the other blacks in the dorm saw what happened, and they decided the dude, he's a liability. He's not caring about anybody else but whatever fantasy he created in his mind. And so the decision was made by the blacks to remove Tuna, the turned up non-affiliate. And the people that needed to say it, said it. And he was dealt with severely. And it maintained the peace, the ceasefire in the dorm. I'm glad that Damian told this story. I am. It's a glimpse at what it really is behind the walls. A lot of people want to paint the picture and want to put out the narrative that the Southerners are racist and always after the blacks any chance they get, and that's very far from the truth. People say that California prisons are sectioned off based off of race. That's not true either. It's everything sectioned off based off of faction. And to prove that point, the Southerners have their area of the yards in prison. And there are black Southsiders. They don't touch them, because they're a part of that faction. Very rarely, but at times it happens, there are white Crips or white Bloods that'll hit the yard. They're not segregated from the whites based off of race. It's based off of affiliation. Southerners have their areas where they don't share it with Northerners. They don't share it with Bulldogs. So it can't be based off of race. Having a black man speak on that and showing that people were able to communicate. Because the Southerners, when the tuna approached them while they were working out, which is a definite no-no. You don't approach anybody, especially another faction, especially a rival faction. You don't approach those guys when they're busting down. So him doing that, he knew exactly what he was doing when he did it. And for those of you that know, you know. For those of you that don't know, Damian Porter and I go back to the California Youth Authority. Back when we were teenagers. We were in Paso Robles, and I could say, and I think Damian Porter has also said the same thing. I don't know. Someone would have to ask him, but Paso Robles in the California Youth Authority was the most racist place I've ever done time. Especially the dorm that Damien and I were on. Damien and I, we were on Nipomo. And back then, in Paso, it's like that. But back then, the blacks outnumbered the Southerners. I mean, ridiculously, right? On Nipomo, it's a 75-man dorm. There were 3 whites and I think 12 Southerners. That's 15. That's 15 people. There was no other ethnicities on that dorm. So you had 60 blacks. So for that reason, there was a lot of racism because it kept people kind of like in war mode. And even in that environment, me and Damian Porter were cool. We wound up getting into a fight. That fight was, I was supposed to fight somebody else after Chow. I had already told the dude, hey, as soon as we come back from Chow, we're on our way out. I said, as soon as we come back from Chow, me and you are getting down. And me and Damian were cool. It just, something happened in the Chow Hall where we wound up getting into it. But even in that environment, we were able to be as cool as we could be, right? And I know there's some people that like to get in my comments or like to get in the DMs, and you guys feel that Damien is going too pro-black. Nothing wrong with that. I don't see anything wrong with that. I will say he picked up his vocabulary since YA though. Damien be hitting us with them big words. I'm like, what? But there's no problem with him being proud. There's no problem with him wanting to portray his people in the best light. So I don't take offense. But it's also a great thing that someone who is looked at as being pro-black, so pro-black, and yet talking about being able to communicate with a rival faction that happened to be another ethnic group. And I think that if more content creators, both raza as well as black, were to do more of this stuff, it would help to not fully eradicate, but lessen the propaganda. Because if you guys just think about it, if you guys like really think about it, when was the last time you heard of a riot happening in California prison? I'll tell you what, in the 90s, especially after they took family visits, but in the 90s, you heard of riots all the time. 2000s, they were rioting still. Now, you don't hear about that stuff. And every time there's a riot in California, a race riot, that's world news. So you would know. I might do another video like this on interactions with Northerners, because people have asked me about interactions with Northerners, right? But I wanted to do this one because I liked the video that Damon did today. You can't have, and no matter what faction it is, you can't have one individual put everyone else in their car in jeopardy because of their little feelings. They don't work like that. You know, people lose their lives in riots. If something's got to happen, it's got to happen. Jail's bad enough as it is without adding the riots and the stickings to it. It's bad enough. Anyhow, that's my video for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, man. I'm out of here.